Signs you're finally seeing through the gangstalking. Hello and welcome back to Veronica's Journal, where we discuss spirituality, psychology, and mental health so together we can evolve as a community that's unstoppable. How's it going, guys? My name is Veronica. About me, I'm in this world, but not of this world. Hope you all are doing well and protecting your peace and protecting your energy during these times. So today's topic is about waking up from the illusion and seeing things for what they really are. So let's dive in. When you wake up, you realize the matrix is designed to keep you in a low vibration of guilt, fear, and shame. So you're easy to manage and manipulate. But once you take your power back and your sovereignty by eliminating things and people that lower your vibration, once you start living in alignment with your true self, your authentic self, and once you develop an intimate relationship with your creator, everything changes. You'll notice there's a shift that happens. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. No one announces it. But one day, you just know something has changed inside you. And it's this quiet realization, I'm not reacting the same way anymore. That's the beginning. That's the moment you start seeing through it. Because when you're deep in it, when everything feels coordinated, targeted, personal, it pulls you into this constant state of alertness. You know, every sound means something. Every look feels intentional. Every coincidence feels planned, even if it's not. Your mind is trying to connect the dots nonstop. But then something starts to break. Not you, the illusion. And one of the first signs, you start questioning the patterns, not yourself. Before, everything felt like proof. Now you pause. You start asking, is this actually connected, or does it just feel connected? That right there, that's power coming back online. Because when you're trapped in that mindset, your brain is working overtime to create meaning out of randomness. But when you start seeing through it, you realize something uncomfortable. Not everything is about you. And I don't mean that in a dismissive way. I mean it in a freeing way. Because if everything isn't about you, then you're not under constant attack. And if you're not under constant attack, then you can finally breathe. Another sign, you stop reacting instantly. Before it was automatic. A noise and your body tenses. A stranger laughs and you assume it's directed at you. A car passes, you feel watched. But now there's space. There's a gap between what happens and how you respond. And in that gap, you start choosing. You don't jump to conclusions as fast. You observe, you question, you detach. And that detachment, it's not numbness, it's clarity. Because you're no longer feeding that loop. And that loop, let's be real, it feeds on attention. It grows the more you analyze it, the more you replay it, the more you try to decode every little thing. But when you step back, when you stop giving every moment meaning, it starts losing its grip. Another sign you're seeing through it, you start noticing how much of it was driven by fear, not facts? Fear. Fear fills in gaps. Fear exaggerates patterns. Fear turns maybe into definitely. And fear is the favorite food source of the archons. And once you have risen above the frequency of fear, they lose interest and find another source. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. If you start catching your own thoughts, you hear yourself thinking something, and instead of believing it instantly, you go, wait, where'd that come from? And that's a huge shift, right? Because before, your thoughts felt like truth. Now they feel like thoughts. And those weren't even your thoughts. They were implanted to break your psyche. And that difference changes everything. Another sign, you're less exhausted. Because let's be honest, living in that constant state of hyper vigilance awareness, it drains you mentally, emotionally, physically. It's like your nervous system never gets to turn off. You're in fight or flight all the time. But when you start seeing through it, that tension starts to release. You're not scanning every room the same way you used to. You're not analyzing every interaction. You're not trying to stay 10 steps ahead of something you can't even prove is there. And with that, your energy starts to come back. And when your energy comes back, your life starts coming back too. And here's another big one. You stop needing to convince other people. Before, there was this urgency. You needed people to understand what you're going through, to validate what you were experiencing, to see what you were seeing. And when they didn't, it felt very isolating, didn't it? Frustrating, even painful. But now, that need starts fading. Not because your experience wasn't real, but because you're no longer anchored to it the same way you were. You're not trying to prove it anymore to anyone. You're trying to understand yourself better. And that's a completely different direction. Another sign, you start focusing inward instead of outward. Before, everything was external. What are they doing? Who's watching? What does that mean? But now, your attention turns inwards. How am I feeling? Why did that trigger me? What's actually happening in my body right now? And this is where the real change happens. Because once your awareness comes back to you, you regain control. And control doesn't mean controlling everything around you. It means grounding yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. Another sign, you're seeing through it. You start accepting uncertainty. This one's a bit hard because the mind hates not knowing. It wants answers. It wants to be certain. It wants closure. That's why it creates patterns, even when they're not there. But when you start waking up, you realize something very powerful. You don't need to have an answer for everything. You don't need to explain every coincidence. You know, you don't need to assign meaning to every moment. You can let things just be. And that's where the peace starts creeping in. Slowly, quietly, but steadily. Another sign, you start reconnecting with reality in a very grounded way. Not the hyper alert version, not the suspicious version, the real version, where people are just people, where random things happen randomly, where life isn't a constant test or a setup. And yeah, it feels strange at first because your brain got so used to a different way of processing everything due to trauma. Your nervous system was completely hijacked. But the more you stay in that grounded state, the more natural it feels. And here's something important. You don't have to shame yourself for where you were. It's not your fault. You don't have to beat yourself up because your mind was just trying to protect you. It just got stuck in overdrive. That's all. And now you're recalibrating. Another sign you're seeing through gangstalking is you start feeling moments of peace again, even if they're small, even if they don't last long at first, but they do come back. A quiet moment here, a clear thought there, a sense of calm you haven't felt in a long time. And when that happens, you realize something powerful. You're not trapped. You were just caught in a pattern. And patterns can be broken little by little, moment by moment. And maybe the biggest sign of all, you start trusting yourself again. Not that fearful version of you, not that hyper alert version, the grounded, aware, present version, the one that can pause, reflect, and choose. And that version of you, that's the real you. Still there, still intact, just buried under layers of fear and overanalysis in the matrix. But now you're peeling those layers back. And as you do, things get clearer, quieter, and more real. So if you're starting to notice these signs, even just one or two of them, you're already on your way out of the gang stalking thing. And yeah, it might not be instant. It's going to take time. And there are moments where you slip back into those old patterns. That's normal. Don't worry. That doesn't mean you're back to square one. It just means you're human. Okay? It takes time. What matters is now you're aware. And that awareness, that's the turning point. That's where everything begins to change. So take your time. Be patient with yourself. Okay? And remember, seeing through something doesn't always happen all at once. Okay? Sometimes it happens in quiet realizations, small shifts, subtle moments where you choose clarity over fear. And those moments, they add up until one day you look back and realize you're not in it anymore. But trust me, this won't happen automatically. You need to put in the work to raise your vibration first and to get into alignment and also have a spiritual practice every day and be disciplined with it. It is very, very important. That's what's going to bring you out of this. And this brings us to the end of the video. Hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Have an awesome day, guys. Until next time, love you.